The Rise and Shine podcast series is made possible by the generous support of Bonnie Vozar of Chicago, Illinois.
I refused to give in to my suspicions and searched in that moment for a common element, and a tiny pink Dior bag and one compliment opened up for me a flash of light and clarity.
This is Rise and Shine, a podcast that offers timeless wisdom and uplifting meditations to fill your heart, feed your soul, and start your day on a positive note. Here is Adrienne Gold-Davis.
As Hanukkah approaches and we enter the month of Kislev, a month of light and miracles, I really want to share an experience I had this fall in Israel, in that land of milk and honey and HP, or what we like to call hashgacha pratit, which is divine supervision, odd or God moments, higher power. Because if you're looking to see a miracle, my friends, Israel is the natural ecosystem for them every single time. So here's what happened. We were a bus of 40 women making the inevitable bathroom pit stop at a gas station along the highway. You see, when you travel on a momentum trip with women, someone always has to pee, and the rest of us never want to miss the opportunity for the pit stop. And we'll get off the bus and we'll wait in line for an opportunity, even when we don't really need to go. I don't know, it's left over from our mothers, I suppose. So one day, one of our tour guides said that he was going to be writing a book called Where to Go in Israel, just highlighting our bathroom stops that he's had to accommodate along the way when he guides us. Anyway, one time, in creative necessity, after our bus was stuck in traffic behind an accident, the women got out of the bus and we created these makeshift privacy stalls. We happened to have our beach towels because we had been at the Dead Sea. So we stood at the side of the road and we all took turns holding up these beach towels and making stalls out of them until everybody was finished peeing. It was, in our case, literally us being the mothers of invention. Anyway, so on this particular stop, we were in Israel just after all of the live hostages were released. And, you know, it was a time of both joy and celebration, but also of real sorrow and pain for those who were still not home yet, families who still didn't have closure. There were tensions between the Jews and the Arabs in this diverse and extraordinary land. It was all understandably high, and it was especially so for this particular bus of women from North America who had arrived at this rest stop and found 3 full buses of young women waiting ahead of them for the 3 stalls in the bathroom. Now, these young women were wearing full hijab and the long cloaks, I think they're called chadors, over their garments. They appeared to be like high school age. And, of course, they were lining up for the same 3 stalls as well. And I watched, actually. It was painful because some of our women appeared to be nervous and even suspicious. Now, this is, of course, understandable post-October 7th. But you should know that in Israel, one lives and moves through the land with those of different faiths and customs all the time, differing dress codes, different ways of living. Now, I knew personally this was no exception. And I wondered, actually, maybe there's a teaching moment here for me to give to these frightened women. So just to the right of the bathroom, there happened to be this picnic table, and there were a bunch of young girls sitting there with their teachers. Now, the teacher looked to be like in her late 20s, and these girls, I don't know, to me, looked about 17. Now, one of the young girls, of course, was covered head to toe in veils, but she was carrying a mini pink Christian Dior handbag, one that I have admired myself many a time in a store window. It was like perched on her lap with the bow right around her wrist. So I approached the table in full view of my bus of moms waiting up in line to pee, and I smiled at the girl. I pointed at her handbag and I said, "Christian Dior, so beautiful. I love your bag." And this girl beams back at me, and she says, haltingly, but clearly in broken English, "I love my bag too. I love, love, love it." And at that moment, the teacher, who was sitting two over from her, turned to see what was going on and said to me in perfect English, "Thank you so much for speaking in English to her. You two see, today is English only day. We do this school trip for our full grade 11 girls' classes, and they're only allowed to talk to each other or to strangers in English. It's what we call a full immersion day." So I sat down at the table and I had these faltering, giggling conversations with the schoolgirls about their classes, about their favorite styles and their studies. And the teacher encouraged them all to contribute. So suddenly, I am surrounded by a sea of veiled teenage girls asking me about my brown satin slip skirt that I had just bought. One of them said, Zara? And I said, "Of course." And we all laughed because, my friends, fast fashion is a great equalizer. "Brown is in fashion now," said one of them to me. "Look," she said, and she lifted up her robes and shows me this all chocolate brown outfit underneath all her wrapping. It was a moment of normalcy in the midst of what had felt 20 minutes before like a potential tinderbox. And then the teacher said to me, "We are Bedouin Arabs from Beersheba. We have a very large school. I am the English teacher, and I take them often on these kind of trips to show them a greater and more peaceful world, because at our school, we believe in peace." And I asked her the name of the school, and she replied with a name that I can neither remember or pronounce. But then she said, "But this is a special program only for women. It's called," okay, wait for it, "Momentum." I almost fainted. "No way," I screamed. "Look at my tag around my neck." And I showed her my Momentum lanyard, and I pointed to the other bus full of women. "We are also Momentum." And tears came to both of our eyes. It was a moment of HP, of hashkacha pratit, and of clarity, of what synergy exists in the world when we are all aligned to look and notice the good. We hugged each other, we smiled like a bunch of loons, and then we took a picture of ourselves for posterity and for the promise it represented. And it happened because I refused to give in to my suspicions and searched in that moment for a common element. And a tiny pink Dior bag and one compliment opened up for me a flash of light and clarity. It's not all exactly as we imagine it to be. At Hanukkah time, we're bringing light into the darkest time of the year. While we celebrate the miracle of the oil that burned for 8 days and nights instead of what should have only been one, we also celebrate the victory of the small and humble band of Maccabees against the Assyrian Greek mega army, the many into the hands of the few. That was actually a more profound miracle and serves as a reminder to all of us that the Almighty Creator of the universe can suspend the laws of nature and also deliver us when we appear to be outnumbered. I mean, come on. We Jews are 0.2% of the world population with exponential influence and power because we're connected to the source of all blessings. So this Hanukkah, don't just light your menorahs at home. Light up yourselves and search for the light that might be hidden or veiled where you least expect it. Because when we tear away the things that obscure the light, we might find that things are brighter than we ever dreamed of. And remember what Marianne Williamson wrote for the late, great Nelson Mandela. When you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give permission to others to do the same. Now, not all things that appear dangerous are actually benign, and not all things that appear benign are actually dangerous. And while we must be scrupulous and careful in these difficult and challenging times, let's not forget. Let's take a peek behind the veil and see if we can unmask a little light, especially the one that you hold yourself.
Thanks for listening to Rise and Shine. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Momentum Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Join Adrienne again next time for more timeless wisdom and uplifting meditations that fill your heart, feed your soul, and start your day on a positive note.
This podcast was made possible by the generous support of Bonnie Vozar of Chicago, Illinois. Spread the wisdom. Inspire Jewish individuals around the globe by supporting Momentum's podcasts. To sponsor, contact podcast@momentumunlimited.org. You're listening to a Momentum podcast. For unlimited inspiration, wisdom, and empowerment, visit momentumunlimited.org.